Howdy everyone. Ooh, I look bad. Welcome to another beautiful day on the Pacific Crest Trail. I should be hitting mile 500 today. It's been a couple of days since we talked. We've been up and down in the bottom of deserts, or rather, at low elevation we're in desert. At high elevation we're in this kind of lush green sort of thing. Well, I say high elevation, but we're not even at 5,000 feet at the moment. And it has been, and I cannot stress this enough, swelteringly hot. We've been hitting 100 degrees during the day for the past 3 or 4 days. Honestly, it all runs together. So we've been getting up extremely early in the morning, 4:30, sometimes earlier, and hiking until it gets too hot to walk, which is usually around 10 or 11 o'clock. And then from there, finding some place in the shade to lay down, drink lots of water, and try to stay hydrated, which is increasingly difficult. Water is farther and farther apart, and some of the sources are contaminated. One of the main ones for today apparently has a dead, rotting bear inside of it, which, in case you're wondering, means that the water in there is toxic and we can't drink it. This wouldn't be a problem on most trails because they have water every 5 miles, but the PCT seems to have water every 10, 12, 15 miles, in the desert section at least, which means that we're carrying lots of water, which means that our backpacks are heavier, and we're also struggling to stay hydrated. A couple of days ago, we stopped into Green Valley, I think it's the name of the town, to the House of the Moon, which is a trail angel's house. Interesting place, filled with taco salads and Hawaiian shirts. We stopped at a gas station, myself and Pops, and proceeded to sit there and probably drink a gallon of various fluids each, with it having absolutely no effect on our states of being. And I still didn't have to go to the bathroom until probably 6:30 that night, probably 5 hours later. And that was after also drinking probably 2 more liters of just water at the hostel. So we're getting dehydrated. I could probably handle this a little bit better, but I do still have a cold and a cough at the moment. So my nose is clogged and the back of my throat feels dry and snotty. It's not a great combo. Add to the fact that it's also been about 5 days since I had a shower, and I am really looking forward to getting to the next town. That being said, things could be far worse. Could be snowing on us at the moment. And actually, this is fairly temperate for this time of year. The fact that, it's mid-June in the desert and we've only hit 100 degrees 6 or 7 times so far, that's a really good year. People who hiked this last year and the year before had it much worse than us. And unless this glut of rainfall and snowfall keeps up, the people in future years are going to have it worse than us. So I'm immensely grateful for the amount of water that we do have, even though it sometimes feels like it's not enough. In addition to all this, my Gatewood Cape shelter is working fantastically. I'm really beginning to enjoy setting it up, and it takes probably 4 minutes to pitch it. Probably 6 if I'm putting the bug net on the inside. But that's just because I'm scrambling around on all fours inside the shelter putting tent stakes down. In all honesty, it's probably one of the easiest shelters I've ever put up. And it's fully enclosed and I'm really liking it. So I'm carrying 2 extra pounds of equipment. Technically I'm carrying 2 shelters and 2 sets of rain gear at the moment. So by the time we reach the next town, which I believe is Tehachapi, it's a great name for a town, I'll be able to ship the excess weight home, and I'll end up walking with probably a 7 or 8 pound base weight again, which I could not be looking more forward to, especially considering that leaving Tehachapi, we're going into the Sierra, or at least it will be 6 days from there to the entrance of the Sierra. And that will be a lot of mountain climbing and a lot of stream crossing in extremely, extremely off conditions. There's still deep snowpack high in the mountains there, of course, and the snow has started to melt and trickle down, and so the stream crossings are massive. I'm not sure what we're going to do when we get there still. We may end up skipping around the Sierra, hiking a couple hundred miles until some of the meltwater decreases a bit, and then going back to hike the Sierra afterwards, which isn't exactly a direct linear footpath, but I don't exactly care. I would much rather hike the trail in non-linear segments than I would die trying to cross a stream for no apparent reason. In other news, I opened my food bag last night and discovered that despite starting this segment with 3 extra honey buns, I ended up with only the exact number of honey buns to finish the trail, this section at least, which means that while I remember eating one of them, I either ate 2 of them completely unconsciously and have no recollection of doing so, which is problematic in and of itself, or they've walked off somewhere. I have no idea. So that's about where we're standing right now. I've got about another 2.5 miles to the next water source, which is a 1/4 mile off trail, uphill, both ways I'm sure, very hard. And after we water up, we will try for another 10, 12 miles today. We've already been walking for 4 or 5 hours, and we've already been walking for 3 or 4 hours. It's 7:30 at the moment, so we're, well, as on schedule as you can be without having a schedule or anywhere to be. And it's still very pretty here, even in the non-temperate mountain zones. Look at all this lush grass. Reminds me of the Ironstone Trail in Pennsylvania, actually, except the grass would be ferns and there would be water every 100 feet. Wouldn't that be nice? I think that's all for me. Mostly because my arm is getting tired of holding the phone out like this. So I'm gonna go. Have a nice day, and eat a salad for me somewhere out in the world. I'd just about kill for one at the moment. Or a few gallons of cold water. Or both. Or both. Have a good day.